When power meets Shaniqua.
Shaniqua wins.
Shaniqua's loot on the move.
When leaders play politics, Shaniqua raises the stakes. Shaniqua's revenge. This Halloween.
30 days. That's how long Democrats have held America hostage. Food banks are empty. Airlines are grounding flights. Air traffic controllers work without pay while families dig through bare shelves. This is not incompetence. It's calculated cruelty. 14 times Republicans offered the same clean funding that passed under Biden. 14 times Democrats said no. Chuck Schumer, and I'm talking directly to you, end this madness now. Stop punishing Americans for your political vendetta. Even your own allies are abandoning ship. Union leaders demanding action. CEOs exploding on live TV. In the White House, they're carving pumpkins. What you're about to see will make your blood boil. So keep on watching. As Democrat policies empty our shelves, you do need to be ready. My Patriot Supply has your back with their 3-month emergency food kit. You can save $100 right now. Not freeze-dried mush, folks. We're talking 2,000 calories a day of real breakfast, lunch, dinner, even snacks. While Democrats vote to starve America, you can protect your family with food that lasts 25 years. It's made in the USA, no MSG, sturdy buckets, fast, free shipping. When the government fails you, and they are failing, be your own hero. Go to preparewithgary.com. It's linked below. It'll get you ready while Schumer plays games. That's preparewithgary.com, because Democrats just proved they will let you starve for politics. But over at the White House, the kiddies aren't starving. President Trump greeting the trick-or-treaters. Here's one dressed as a toilet. President Trump handing out, looks like, oh, they got the full-size bars going on over there at the White House. That's where you want to go. I wonder if these kids have to go through a Secret Service checkpoint. I'm sure everybody does. Right? We got this. This is the moment that President Trump arrived with the First Lady, Melania, on site at the White House. We have not seen much of her at the White House these days. I think she's just kind of tired of all the mess. But she's there. Our friend Michael Alfaro, he's at the White House as well. And I was hoping to see some video from him today, but probably got too busy hobnobbing with the president, right, Mike? Here's more. President Trump and a former McDonald's worker himself greets new drive-through employees at the White House. Look at this. Look at this costume. Someone actually brought an entire wagon. It looks like a McDonald's drive-through. Now that's funny. Now, I don't know how you get this stuff through Secret Service, but anyway. Apparently this is a tradition for President Trump. What you're seeing here, there's a banana watch, okay? So there's someone dressed as Marshmallow, the DJ. Donald Trump putting the candy bar on Marshmallow's head. Apparently he did that a couple years ago. Here's the moment he'd put the candy bar on a minion's head. So despite the government shutdown, these families are getting fed with lots of candy. There's nothing going to stop President Trump from making the kids happy on Halloween. Not even gruesome Schumer. But the White House posting this just a couple hours ago. Airlines, air traffic controllers, and pilots associations call on Democrats to open the government.
Now they're feeling the biggest way to ensure the safety, security, and reliability of our national air traffic control system is to pass a clean, continuing resolution. We are concerned.
A clean, continuing resolution. Vice President J.D. Vance outside the White House today, slamming Senate Democrats for their failure to negotiate to reopen the government for the American people. They're trying to take a hostage, and we can't reward that behavior.
Months. Here is our very simple proposal to the Democrats. Let's sit down and come to a compromise and work it out. You know what the Democrats' response to that is? Give us everything we want, or we're going to shut down the government and keep it shut down. That is not reasonable behavior. That's not how you do compromise in this town. That is the way that the Democrats have operated. They are trying to take a hostage, and we can't reward that behavior. If we do that, If we say, yes, of course, we'll give you everything that you want if you reopen the government, you know what's going to happen? In 3 months, they're going to come back to the administration and they're again going to say, we're going to shut down the aviation industry. We're going to deny people SNAP benefits unless you give us exactly what you want. That's how a child behaves.
We don't negotiate with terrorists. You see, that you reward the behavior and it continues. Right? That's the same policy we have with terrorists. You don't give in to their demands because then more people will be terrorized. Right? That's the whole deal. It's the same thing with the Democrats.
Is not how a responsible governing party behaves in the United States of America. And let me make one final point, and then we'll cut out of this press conference. Look, I've been a little bit unfair, and I want to correct this, because when I say the Democrats have shut down the government, it's actually the far left side of the Democratic Party, because to their great credit, 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Senate Republicans to vote to reopen the government. We need 5 more reasonable Democrats to put the American people first and reopen the government. That's all that we're asking. Let's talk about health care policy. Let's make sure that we ensure that Americans' health insurance premiums don't go up. We want that, and we're willing to work with people for it, but they've got to reopen the government first. Sean came from a background not that dissimilar from mine. Sean O'Brien came from a background not that dissimilar from mine. There are moms and dads who are fighting right now because they're worried about not being able to pay the credit card bill and the mortgage bill. There are parents who have to look their kids in the eye and say, you know what, we're not going to do football this year. We're not going to do basketball this year because I can't pay for it because the federal government is shut down and I'm not getting a paycheck. Do we want those people who keep the aviation system running to not be able to feed their families, to not be able to pay for some of the things that make life worth living? The answer to that question is absolutely. We want them to be able to afford a good life. The only way for that to happen is to reopen the government. It'll be good for those who fly. It'll be good for those who work in the aviation industry. It'll be good for the whole country. Just do the common sense thing, Democrats. Reopen the government. We need 5 Senate Democrats to join us. I hope that they will. Thank you, guys.
Will those 5 Senate Democrats cross the aisle and cross Chuck Schumer? Or will we see the EBT breakdown that is planned for November 3rd? This woman says she would rather loot your house, your Frigidaire, and your pantry.
How darn lovely. But I'd rather it be your house, your Frigidaire, and your pantry.
What's a yo Frigidaire? Okay. Yo Refrigidaire. That's what it's called, apparently. Here's another woman. Says she's not above pimp slapping and hoe dragging.
Know exactly. It's day 30 of the shutdown. I'm not above pimp slapping and hoe dragging. I don't know exactly what I have to do or need to do, but we definitely gonna figure out something. Siri, how exactly do I fill out a Magic City application? It's day 30 of the shutdown.
Wow. They're going to raid your fridge, pimp slap your wife. People are starting to panic. The shelves are bare. South Carolina food banks brace for chaos as the Democrat shutdown dries up SNAP funding. 6 hours ago, local NBC.
Impact. With SNAP benefits ending on Saturday, November 1st, a lot of their shelves have gone bare.
Shelves are bare and trying to restock as often and as quickly as we can.
The upcoming lapse in benefits will have a twofold impact, creating more demand for food.
People are starting to panic. There are people that, they're only bringing in $1,000 a month and they still have kids and they really don't know how they're going to make ends meet.
It's also driving more people to food banks.
Ramen noodles. Stressed, but I feel a lot better because I have all these people that trying to help me. They've helped me out a lot.
Food bank volunteers are working in overdrive, meeting more demand with less supply.
They are activating the One South Carolina Fund, which we are anticipating being able to utilize, but that's not going to be the dollar amount that supplements SNAP.
While Harvest Hope is prepared, they can only do so much if the shutdown stretches on.
We're going to see. We've never had this happen before. There's never been a moment where this many people don't have access to food.
Never been a moment like this. And this just in from our friend Michael at the White House.
Hey, Gary Franchi, Next News Network. Michael Farrell here. Hey, Gary Franchi, Next News Network. Michael Farrell here. We're going live with this little chick. His name is Ajin, and it's our first Halloween celebration at the White House with the Next News Network. Thank you for covering our features and our coverage in Cambodia and Thailand, the border conflict, and all the others around the world that we've been reporting from Next News Network. And as you know, President Trump, you're our President Trump's favorite YouTuber. You know it's true. All right, I'll see y'all later. See you back in studio.
All right, Michael Alfaro heard the call and sent that in right away. God bless you, Michael. God bless you. Continuing right along with the action, or I should say inaction of government. Democrats have accused President Trump of everything except abandoning his children to the wolves. Senator John Kennedy, one of the most colorful senators in Washington, D.C.
Everything the Democrats have, they have accused the President Trump of everything except abandoning his children to wolves. They daily call him a racist and a Nazi. The Democrats are angry. They're angry for two reasons. They're angry because President Trump won the election. The American people spoke. My Democratic colleagues need to just drink a big old glass of get over it and let's move on. They're mad, number two, they're mad that the American people are mad about the shutdown. It was so needless. The Democrats.
It is needless. But of course, Chuck Schumer thinks it's leverage. Here is a Teamster outside the White House. Unions turning against the Democrat Party.
3 weeks ago. Look, the bottom line, and we took a position, I represent 1.3 million working men and women in this country for the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. We took a position 3 weeks ago. Pass a clean CR, get to the table, negotiate a deal. Do not put working people in the middle of a problem they should not be in there. And we got to think about the families that are going to be affected. Think about when you have to tell your son or daughter they can't play sports because you're not getting paid. Think about when you can't pay your mortgage. Think about when you can't pay your tuition. Put the politics aside, get to the table, negotiate a deal, pass a clean CR right now, and then figure out the problems moving forward. And I want to thank the air traffic controllers. I want to thank the aviation administration for all their hard work and sacrifice.
Teamsters sending a message. But here is the CEO of United Airlines going off on Chuck Schumer and the Democrats for shuttering the government and refusing to pay air traffic controllers. It's getting worse and worse for Chuck. CEO of United Airlines now.
Traffic controls, really thanking the professionals, the air traffic controllers, the folks at the TSA, also the FAA, the people in management. They're working hard. They are keeping the skies safe. They've minimized delays. Fewer than 2% of flights have been delayed so far because of air traffic control shortages. So they've done a great job. But it's putting stress on people. It's not fair to those people. It's also putting stress on the economy. You know, the first couple of weeks, this had no impact on the economy. But as every day goes by, the impacts start to grow. And airlines are a pretty good real-time indicator of the economy. And we start to see, still minor, but steep booking impact. And you see that happening in the economy. We put the whole economy at risk. And so it's been 30 days. And while I don't have a position on which partisan side and how things should be settled with healthcare, it has been 30 days. I also think it is time to pass a clean CR, use that as the opportunity to get into a room behind closed doors and negotiate hard on the real and substantive issues that the American people want our politicians on both sides of the aisle to solve. But let's get a clean CR and get that negotiation done behind closed doors without the pressure and without putting the American workers and the American economy at risk.
The CEO of United Airlines, man. I hope Chuck Schumer's listening. Here we have more. This TDS. Here is TDS has completely melted Cory Booker's brain. Appearing on CNN, they ask him about the consistent no vote. And, of course, he defaults to his programming.
Pain. Democrats have been consistently voting no on just keeping the government running, opening the government. Are there some Democrats, do you, sir, because you voted no, bear some responsibility for endangering people's food aid?
Wait for it.
Well, Donald Trump has said very bluntly that I'm going to cause maximum pain. Democrats have been consistently voting no on just keeping the government.
But Donald Trump. Representative Vern Buchanan, House GOP passed a clean CR, same kind of funding resolution both parties passed 13 times under Biden. Democrats holding America hostage.
Maybe the expense.
And what about your office right now? What are you hearing, and are you getting pushback from both sides on the shutdown?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't understand the CR. I voted for, supported that. All Republicans did, with maybe the exception of one. All the senators have supported it. I don't understand why they just don't do it like we've done for the last 4 or 5 years, where you have, basically we pass the CR and we get to work, and we deal in good faith, and there's about 5 or 6 weeks where we've got a chance to get something done in terms of budgeting.
And what about your office right now?
People are voting for the clean CR, but we only need 5 Democrats to flip. Who will they be? Here is a post from the White House. 6 hours ago, Democrats are giving treats to illegal aliens while the American people endure the horrors. 30 days of the Democrat shutdown. Speaker Johnson says that Leader John Thune went berserk on the Senate floor at Democrats because he's 100% fed up with their BS. Listen.
I can empathize. Pretty upset yesterday. We've all seen the video. Mad John on the floor, and it's appropriate. When we come in here and do these briefings, I can empathize with them because we're happy warriors. I like to come in and have a good time in press conferences and tell you good news and all of that. But this feels very much like in my state, Louisiana's a hurricane state. It's like giving a briefing during a hurricane, a Cat 5 hurricane, right before it hits shores. We put the sandbags around our homes and we board up the windows and we do everything we can to prepare, but we know the real pain is about to hit. And we feel helpless in doing anything about it. And that's the same emotion and that we feel here at the podium and when we're on the floor. And Leader Thune let them have it yesterday because they were trying to play games, and we're just fed up with it. He's a very even-tempered, calm guy. I mean, I try to maintain the same demeanor, but it's infuriating to us. I'm not going to second-guess his decisions on when they schedule the votes each time, but he's probably about had it with their nonsense. And when they tell him and they thumb their nose at him and give him, and say other things that they like to drop the F-bomb now for fun, for emphasis apparently. When they tell him those things, he probably recognizes it's a futile effort. He realizes they're dug in, they don't care. They're more afraid of the Marxist, socialist, far left in the party than they are the harm that they're going to cause in the American people. That's a fact. And
I think they're also more afraid of the health insurance companies not padding their campaign coffers by demanding the health insurance provisions in these bills get stuffed into the CR. Here's Caitlin Collins actually playing a clip of Hakeem Jeffries from 2013 blasting a government shutdown, declaring it unnecessarily hurts Americans. This is on CNN. Wow, CNN.
House GOP. We're in the midst of a government shutdown right now that is unnecessarily forcing pain on the American people. It's a shutdown that was manufactured by the House GOP that has resulted in a situation where Americans all across this country have now been put in jeopardy. That's a tragedy of epic proportions.
I wonder what Hakeem Jeffries of today would say to the Hakeem Jeffries of 2013 who read that message.
Collins coming in with the receipts from 2013 and dropping them right on Hakeem Jeffries' face. Oh, boy. How's he going to respond to this? Look at the smirk. Look at the smirk on his face. Man.
in terms of wanting to pass a clean CR so Congress could get back to work?
Well, the Hakeem Jeffries of today definitively agrees with the Hakeem Jeffries of yesterday from the standpoint of, listen, we've said to Republicans, get to the negotiating table. We want to find a bipartisan path forward. We want to reopen the government. We are standing by hardworking federal employees, but we need a partner in that effort. But we don't have a partner. Literally, Donald Trump over the last 20
Donald Trump. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent dropping a truth nuke on the Democrats.
Run to my theory of the case here is since President Trump came into office, as you know, the Democrats have been trying to stop him. They run to the circuit courts, and then the circuit courts get overruled by the Supreme Courts. They go to the media, and the media is not able to stop him. So what did they? Great economic momentum, bringing our country back from the 4 years of the Biden disaster. They're going to shut down the government, and it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. They're making things worse in an effort to stop the momentum that this administration has, and it's inconceivable to me.
Inconceivable. Not just to you, sir,
done to try to stop,
but every American watching right now. Here's the GOP majority whip on the Schumer shutdown.
Partisan majority. Unfortunately, these are not great circumstances. You talk about majorities, bipartisan majorities. Keep in mind, we passed this spending bill out of the House on September 19th, Charlie, well in advance of the September 30th deadline. There was only one Democrat that joined with the Republicans in the House to pass it over to the Senate. Now, it gets to the Senate. And you've got a rule, the filibuster rule. They need 60 votes. We only need a simple majority in the House. They need 60 votes to get something to the floor. And Chuck Schumer has refused to provide the votes necessary to get this to the floor. And as a result, the government's been shut down for 30 days now. And I would argue to the people watching that most people haven't noticed. Your report from LaGuardia this morning is an example. Most people haven't noticed up till this week. Thanks to Donald Trump finding a way to pay our troops last month, that pain was delayed. But starting this week, the American Federation of Government Employees, the largest government employee union in the country, 820,000 members, sent a letter and said, get this done. Open the government up so you can get back to negotiating. Guess what? Tuesday, air traffic controllers did not get a paycheck. And you just outlined for the viewers all the bad things that are going to happen. This is starting to become very real. They are playing.
And of course, it's going to get very real when we see Walmart's on fire on November 3rd. We've been covering it here for days now. The threats. We've shown you some just tonight about what is on the horizon. Of course, I've said before, I believe that they want that to happen. They want the chaos in the streets. They want the scenes of people running out of Walmart with shopping carts and customers getting beat down because Trump, because Orange Man bad. We're going to find out soon enough, though. It's all coming to a head. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this is not governance, it's revenge. Democrats are punishing you for electing Trump. They'd rather watch Americans starve than pass the same clean bill they approved 13 times under Sleepy Joe. Think about that. Your kids go hungry because Schumer's still bitter about November. Airlines warn of disasters. Food banks turning families away, and Democrats vote no again and again. You see, they've weaponized hunger against their own people. So here's the question for the comment section. Should any politician who votes to continue this shutdown be charged with dereliction of duty? Yes or no, sound off below, because while they feast in D.C., you're fighting for scraps. This is America in 2025, where Democrats choose politics over people and power over patriotism. Let's grab some next news gear from our shop and show them we won't be silenced, because the revolution starts with remembering who did this to you.